Alrighty, so it's 8:30. We have 18 folks online right now. And of course, please feel free to come and go as you need to. Um, the plan is to go from now until about 9 o'clock, and then I'll hang out for a few more minutes to answer any questions or comments if there are any. My name is Gabriel Hoff. I'm a massage therapist in Ithaca, New York. And I do craniosacral work and acupressure and medical massage and stuff. And I'm recently a yoga teacher. Became a yoga teacher at Kripalu. And I'm not doing any massage right now because of the pandemic. So I thought that, Sadie had the idea, Sadie Hayes, acupuncturist, of starting up this movement thing. And so my hope is that this will be a way to kind of get a little bit more movement into your life in the morning, because movement is life, movement is health. I believe that. So I'll be sharing some of the practices that I do, and you can, of course, take anything that you like and leave anything that you don't. And just to say again, if you have any questions or comments, please leave a little comment in the chat box. And if you can't hear me or see me for any reason, leave a little comment and I'll try to fix those. Or there are any other technical issues, I'll try to fix those. So what I would recommend for this morning's movement exercises are a little bit of open space and a place where you can stand, and also a chair. It'll be good to have a chair or some place that you can sit down and touch your foot. So I know some people aren't that flexible in their hips, and that's okay. So having a chair or some way that you can grab a hold of your foot will be helpful, and I'll be showing that a little bit later. So let's start with just taking a couple of deep breaths. And what I'd recommend is to, first you can just try to take a deep breath, right? And just feel what that feels like. And now, instead of taking the breath, invite the breath in like it's a breeze or a really sweet gust of wind that's just going to fill you up from the inside. So the breath is going to come in, it's going to fill you up just as much as it wants to, and then it's going to go out. And try a few of those, right? Breath is going to come in, and then it's going to go out. And seeing if this breath or this wind or this kind of sweet breeze will start opening you up a little bit more. Feeling it in your ribs, feeling it in your lower ribs, maybe your belly, maybe even your back. And if you like, you can breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. It can be helpful to make a sound even like this. Like just a little sigh. Just kind of warming up the body, warming up the vocal cords. Yeah. Okay. So then slowly find your way to standing position. You can see me back here, and hopefully you can hear me too. Please let me know if you can't while I'm standing back here away from my computer. And just kind of move your weight from side to side. Good morning, body. Maybe some of you just woke up. Maybe some of you have been awake for a while. Maybe you can hear my floor creaking. And we'll start with a couple of joint warm-ups. So I like to put my hands on my hips for balance. Make sure my knees are a little bit soft or bouncy. So just feel a little softness, a little bounce in the knees so that they're not locked. So like locked knees, locked backward, right? So a little bounce here, a little softness in the knees, and then do some ankle rotations. You can bring your toes to the ground and rotate your ankle around. If you are still breathing, just check in. Oh yeah, I'm still breathing. And rotate your ankle the other way. And bring your weight back onto that ankle and just take a moment actually on both feet to just pause and feel what it feels like now that you've done a little bit of ankle rotation. Good. Okay. So then let's try the other ankle. Soft knee there on the standing leg. Check in with your breath. And go the other direction. Good. Okay. So then let's do a little knees. So you can have your knees relatively close together and put your hands on your knees and make a little circle. circle the other direction. Okay, and then coming up to the hips again. You can make a little circle with your hips, making sure your knees are still soft. Doesn't have to be the biggest circle. It's just about feeling the joints, feeling a little warming up. Doesn't have to be the biggest stretch. Going the other direction. Good. Okay, so then we'll do some empty coat sleeves. So a little twist. And you can do this with your feet kind of planted, or you can lift one heel up and then lift the other heel up. Up to you. Both are good. Okay. And then we can do some arms. So let's try the left foot forward, and then with my right arm, I'm going to kind of make a big, gentle circle up and around and back. And go the other direction. Okay, let's try the other arm. So right foot forward, left arm, circle up and back, just feeling the shoulder. This is a little spinal twist as well. And the other direction. So down, back, and up. All right, shake it out. So shake out a leg. Shake, 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 shake. Shake out the other leg. Shake out an arm. Shake out the other arm. Shake out both arms. Shake your shoulders. Shake your hips. Okay. That was a little general kind of warm up. Yeah, shake your whole body. You're not in the frame. Shake your whole body. All right. So the intention for today was to get some of your feet involved. So you might want a chair or something to sit. So you can take a moment to get that now. You can sit on the floor, that's totally fine. And grab one of your feet. So let's just start with a little bit of stretching. So you can take the top of your foot and stretch it back a little bit. So toes toward your shin. And then front. So toes down, we're going to kind of point like this. Right, so feeling just a little stretch, and see if you can kind of stretch like you're pulling uh, the ankle down like this, and also out. So away from the knee as well. So this is, we're creating length in the ankle and not just kind of like, turning it, right? Stretching up. Yeah. And then, so we're gonna, let's see how I show this. We're gonna stretch this way. So kind of turning the foot inward a little bit. It's easier to do this seated, but just to show it, and sort of inward like that, and then outward. Inward, right? In. And then we'll get some of our toes. So you can squeeze a toe, squeeze a toe, squeeze a toe. Give it a little stretch too. Squeeze the toe, squeeze the toe. Give it a little stretch. Good. And then, okay. So then here, you can see my foot. We're just going to take the ball of the foot here, the big pad in the front, and give it a little stretch outward. So self-massage is so great for the feet. It's good to warm up the feet in the morning. Helps the feet feel more alive, grounded. And stretch, opening up all of these little joints in there. Feet get so squished by shoes sometimes. And then moving down, so into the kind of forward part of the arch. Just stretching open. And if this is not feeling good on your thumbs, you could try with your fingers like this. This is probably easier in this position, but it's hard to show it on the video. Like this. So I'm kind of squeezing, squeeze and open. Spreading the joints. Just kind of waking up the tissues. Your feet do a lot of work for you. Yeah. And then you can do a big squeeze. So one foot on the top, one foot on the bottom. You can interlace your fingers and then just give your arch a little bit more pressure. See if that feels good. If more pressure doesn't feel good, do less. And then so your heel, this is a really great part right above the heel in the arch. There's a lot of muscle right in there. So you can kind of use the palm of your hand. Let's see if I can show this. The palm of your hand right above the heel. Feels a little tender on me this morning, so I'm being a little careful there. Yeah. And if you wanted even more pressure, on your arch. You could even use your forearm. If your hip is comfortable in this position, my hips tend to be very open in this direction, so that's okay for me, but I know a lot of people's hips are tight, so you can kind of lean into your arch. And it's nice to do a little rolling pin, so kind of leaning in and then roll, roll. Oh yeah, and that my manager is telling me that if you have a ball, like for example, a tennis ball, you can roll it, roll your foot on it. So here, let me show this. So here's the tennis ball. Roll back and forth. You can also stand on the tennis ball and get some direct pressure. Like that. Yeah. Alrighty, so let's see. So let's take a little pause there. I'm sure there's a lot more that we could do, but let's take a pause there and come back to standing if you are seated. And just do a little check-in from side to side. So feel your weight go from side to side and notice the sensations in your feet. You might feel that the foot that we were just working on feels a little tingly, feels a little bit more alive. Whatever it is for you, just kind of take a moment to notice. Okay, so let's work on the other foot. So I feel like it bears repeating. Usually we think of the body as symmetrical, but the experience of the body is often very much not symmetrical. So your other foot might feel different, and that's okay. So finding the ball of the foot here. Oh, went to stretching, thank you. So let's do some stretching on this foot, right? So we're gonna stretch the toes toward the knee, and then the toes away from the knee. Right, so you can feel that stretch in your ankle, maybe your calf. This is just one way to stretch the foot. And if this speed is not working for you, feel free to go slower. And then stretch side to side, right? So again, kind of doing like a inside and then outside. And as you're doing this, you might check in with your breath again, seeing if your breath is feeling relaxed and open. Grab onto a toe, give it a little squeeze, give it a little rub, give it a little stretch. Next toe, squeeze, rub, stretch. next toe, next toe, next toe. Now, finding the ball of your foot, give it a little spreading. And then coming down from the ball down into the forward part of the arch. And again, you can use fingers for this. And you can try both. Give your heel a little squeeze. I forget if we did this on the other side. Good. You can do a big squeeze, interlace, squeeze. And then see if you can get right above the heel in the kind of the deep part of the arch. You can even get your forearm, or depending on what you need this morning, you could even get your elbow in there. But the elbow is a power tool, so just being careful at first. You can do a little rolling pin if you're doing that. You can also do it with a soft fist. That can be nice too. Or a tennis ball. Okay. So then we're just gonna do, so we have just a couple minutes left. So just some acupressure points. So famous one is kidney 1, which is here. So right under the ball of the foot in the middle. And there's an alternate place for kidney 1, which is a little bit lower, but we'll stick with this one. And when you find an acupressure point, you can do a few things with it. You can make some circles, right, with some pressure. And you can give some pretty good pressure to it. I'm just showing it like this. It's probably more comfortable to do it like this. Or you could do it like this as well. Right, so again, I'm pressing up here. Right, so you could do some circles. You could take a breath and inhale into it or exhale into the point. One of my teachers, Yumi Asakura, talks about contacting a point like it's a river. So we're just going to go to the bottom of the river. So we're just sort of sinking down in. This point is called the bubbling spring. It's kind of like your connection to the earth. So let's try the other side. So again, ball of the foot here, it's right in the middle, underneath the ball there. So finding whatever position feels good for you, and you can sink in with your breath. Or if it feels better for you, trying some circles. Okay, so we're just about out of time. So bring both of your feet to the floor, either sitting or standing. And just take a moment to sense into your feet and what they're feeling like. Could give your toes a little wiggle if you want. See what that feels like. All right. So just to wrap up, thank you all for playing. If there's any kind of energy in your hands, you can kind of shake them out. Oh, yes. And please do wash your hands. Washing your hands is important in general at this time, as I'm sure you are all very aware. But it's great to wash your hands after you just touched your feet a whole bunch. What else? Please give this video a little like, the thumbs up thing, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, so you can see what's happening tomorrow. I think it will be Dr. Melissa Miller tomorrow at 8:30 doing morning movement. Let me just double check. Oh no, 9:30. 9:30 tomorrow with Dr. Melissa Miller. Yeah. What else? If you would like to give me a little donation, you're welcome. So PayPal or Venmo, just use my name, Gabriel Hoff. And I'll hang out for another few minutes if there are any questions. Or you can reach out to me on email or my website. My email is gabrielghoff@gmail.com. All right. Thank you all very much. Have a lovely day. Please notice how your feet feel today and see if they feel any different. All right. Let's see. I'm looking at the chat down here to see if there are any comments or questions. So conclusion, my feet hate me. That happens sometimes. Sometimes they feel a little grumpy. They feel a little sore. Oh, thanks, Uriel. Hope you have a terrific day too. Oh, I forgot to mention that this video will be available on the channel later if you want to reference it. But yeah, your feet can get a little sore. They can get a little cramped up in shoes and get a little grumpy. And so if you start stretching and kind of massaging your feet, you might notice that, but they'll start feeling a little bit better. Let's see. Can you talk about how you know when you find an acupressure point? Yes. So an acupressure point often feels kind of, or as my teacher Yumi Asakura says, they often feel zingy or a little tender, maybe a little sensitive. Sometimes they feel a little kind of electrical, like there's sort of like an electrical impulse that kind of shoots from one spot to another spot. Yeah, if anything ever, if you find an acupressure point and it feels too tender, then do less pressure. It doesn't have to be a lot of pressure. That said, so there's a great acupuncture blog by Sarah Calabro called AccuTouch, and she sent out a blog recently where she said that a lot of people find acupressure points but actually don't put enough pressure. So she says it's a little bit more pressure than you would think. So that's her opinion. I find that that's usually the case unless the point is feeling particularly tender. So yeah, Lisa, I didn't feel any of those things. There are, we just did one point today. We'll do more points in the future. And it is definitely possible that a certain point, like you won't feel anything on a certain point on a given day. There are some days where I'm pressing kidney 1 and it feels like the best thing that I could be doing in that moment. And there are other days where I'm pressing on it and it feels like there's nothing going on there. This just doesn't feel that interesting to work on. So it kind of depends on the day, depends on what my body's going through, what my foot is going through, and all of that. Yeah. Okay, I'm just checking, see if there's anything else. Alrighty, I'm gonna sign off. Perhaps see you next Tuesday at 8:30, and again tomorrow with Dr. Melissa Miller at 9:30. She'll be live. All right, take care.